Good morning, everyone. I'm here for the Sunday mindset session. Luke Moroney here, just waiting for Tony Meredith to come on. He's running a little bit late, so we'll see what happens to Tony in the short time in the next 5 minutes. But hopefully you guys are having a great day wherever you are. I'm out and about in the Bondi area doing that consistent thing of working on the mindset while I'm running. So physical and the mental challenge of it all. So that is where it's at for me. I wonder where it is at for you. Tony Meredith, just about to join the telecast. Tony, how are you? We are on live, and obviously he is roaming around in different areas, just waiting for that audio to go on live. So, Tony, we are live, ready to go. And
we're live.
Yes, we're live. We're live. I thought I'd
Fantastic.
I know you're a little bit late, but hey, the show must go on. And look at Tony trying to readjust and adjust. And these are the battles that we have each and every day when it comes to things that we do in mindset challenges and everything. So there's a bunch of people already come on. Hopefully you're having a great morning wherever you are. We really want to talk about this subject today. It's an important one as we go towards Christmas, but it is the idea is what opinions will you hear from family and friends at Christmas time? This is a big one for us now. Good to see Tony roaming around and getting close to the traffic, getting amongst it. Mum's come on already and a few others that have joined. Shout out to everyone. If you're on watching right now, say hi, let us know who you are and where you're from. And it'd be good to get a bit of a cross-section of different ideas and thoughts while we go through this. Ken Murray's come on. Morning to Luke and Tony. Says, good morning, guys, from both Kelly and Sean. Tony.
G'day, mate.
How you going?
Great. I'm glad that you've captured all that live. That's wonderful. I'm going great, thank you. Hey, so a lot of people they have all sorts of fears about, oh my gosh, I'm going live and is everything right? You're live. I'm setting myself up, trying to get my shit together. I love it. It's fantastic. So, it's about not really caring so much about how I look, how I sound, what's going on. It's about knowing that I'm about to give some value, and also that it's real. This is real, right? This is not scripted. It's real stuff. It's me running late for my 8 o'clock time slot and scrambling to get all my stuff together.
Graham, good to have you on. He says just a hi and bye. We'll miss this weekend session, unfortunately, but good to see you on for a couple of seconds at least, watching us get ourselves sorted. And Tony Meredith didn't really know that I was going to come on and come in live. So sometimes he gets quite shocked with what happens.
Oh, no.
But he should already know what I'm like.
It's all good. As I said, it's demonstrating to people that we spend far too much time worrying about our hair, our voice, what we're going to say, etc., etc. And here's a great example where, as I've been setting up, it's going beamed live to the world. So hopefully that's been great viewing for everyone sitting at home.
Well, I'm about preparation. So I took good care of me over the last couple of hours, Tony. What's your excuse?
None. Zero. Running late. I've got a big day. I didn't realise, but I've now got a big day of a couple of meetings. So I'm actually a fair way from my home. I was planning on just being close to home and I had everything set up. And then, anyway, I've got a few meetings I need to sort out today. So hence here I am. Nonetheless, that's enough of me. What are we talking about, mate?
Well, Graham has just come on. I've just a couple of comments coming through. He says, doing Super Tree Stand in Parramatta Westfield. So I'm doing a bit of charity work, which is great to see. So obviously that is a priority over this today. You can watch us on replay. Sunil says, good morning, boys. Ken, Wollongong area, God's country to rule in New South Wales, where he's serving the gold ice creams today out there. And perfection, Ken says, is overrated. Well, maybe you want to
starting early. They're starting early. All the comments, perfection is overrated. So, but too many people focus on perfection. I don't think I've ever hit perfection. In fact, I'm nowhere near it. So, but it's about progression. And I've had a few text messages back and forth with Ken this week, a wonderful time in his life. He's been able to sell off part of his business. He's so excited. It came from a chat. He had some thoughts and we had a chat and he's now gone and sold his business, which is terrific. So, I'm proud of him. But it's progression. It's progression, progression, progression. I watched a bit of your video yesterday, and you said you ran another 250 meters, on top of. It's just small little things we talk about here each and every week. Just do one extra thing, one extra thing. Don't try and go from here to here. Do one more, do one more, do one more. You ran 250 more meters. Just do one extra thing. Like it's not, it's quite a simple process. And I want people to recognize that when you do one extra thing on a consistent basis, you look back and you have done 100 extra things. It's just that we try and go from here to here and we fall short and we get disheartened and
Tony,
we give up.
Let's use Ken's example as a really good example of how you can progress in different things. Ken sold off part of his business, which I know about as well because he was messaging me. Obviously thankful for your input and I guess listening ear, because there are some things that we feel like we should be doing. There are some things that a direction that we might be wanting to head into, and we feel like it's right within ourselves, but sometimes we're not speaking it out loud. And on the result of him speaking with you, kind of reaffirmed for him what was going on and got to that stage of, yeah, it feels right, let's now do it. Yeah, I got a confirmation from someone else. Maybe you just need that extra bit of talking out loud or someone to bounce ideas off you and thoughts, right? And that's where the goal can be. Obviously, you want to be working with someone who is that high level, asks you those great questions. Tony, you might want to run a little bit through us to give people the example of, it's totally off topic today, but it's a really good example of how you can be successful in areas of your life.
Oh my gosh, that's so broad. You can be successful in anything that you want to be. It's about, if we use Ken as the example, he was clear on, had an idea, wasn't the clear, sort of had an idea on what he wanted. We banged it into shape for him, gave him some other ideas that he could put on top to just secure his own business. He has a unique business model. And, through 30 minutes conversation, he was able to do that. He took the action. I didn't take the action for him. He took the action. He had his goal clear. He had the action steps he needed to do, and he went and did it. And so from any of us, whether it be in business or life, I call this, business by design or life by design. What is it that you actually want? What do you want your life to be like? And you need to then put some steps in place to make that. Hopefully the traffic's not too loud, mate. I'm so sorry.
Hey, you're all good. You're all good.
So it's all around
birds.
It's all around. I'm under a tree here trying to get a little bit of shade. So it's all around life or business by design. So get clear on what it is that you want. And if you're not clear on what you want, don't stress about it. Speak to someone who can help you get clear on and get that clarity that you need.
And that's what you're there for, Tony, which is really good. I do it in the property space, and obviously you're doing it in the small business coaching space and I guess in property space as well in terms of coaching people.
Well, there's two things, right? So one is get clear on what you want, and that's the start with the end in mind. But the other bit, which so many people forget about, is the bit in the middle, Luke. And so it's really simple. The simple steps are, there's three of them. The first one is get clear on what you want. What does the end look like? That end might be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. In Ken's instance, it was to sell his business. Where are you now? Right? The second step, where are you now? Draw a line in the sand. Figure out what are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. What are the gaps that I need to close? What do I need to leverage more of? The third bit, which is the most critical of all, is now building the bridge between the two. So people forget about it. People say, hey, I've got this goal for myself and I want to get X number of dollars or buy X number of investment properties or sell it, whatever it might be, bring on new clients. But they don't figure out the bit in the middle. They don't spend the time building out the plan. And so for me, that's a gap. The gap between where you want to be, where you are today is a gap. GAP for me is an acronym, which is Goal Achievement Plan. Build out your goal achievement plan. When you build it out, now you've got your roadmap, your blueprint all laid out for you. And now the next bit, the final bit, is take action. Progression is better than perfection. Just take some action.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess part of that progression and focus is not to get distracted around it. And this is what Sunil's just mentioned as well. Tony Gallagher says, good morning, Luke and Tony. And Ken says 100% Luke. I was very thankful and appreciative to talk to Tony. And I guess the message out for everyone is Ken has been successful in this part of his business because he has spoken it out loud, whether it's in the comments down below here, or with myself and with Tony to get that across the line, make that change, make that movement, and he's been successful. We've got Clinton also joining us as well. Dave Sienna, thank you for coming on. I do want to get into the topic this morning, Tony, and it's an opportune time. You know, we come through these experiences for ourselves, and people are discussing things with us on a daily basis. But what you're going to go through in this Christmas period is opinions from family and friends. And how good is it when they come in with their opinions? Give you an example right now. Well, I know my mother's on here as well, so I've got to be very careful how I word this. But I spent 6 months in Queensland, which most people on here will know. When you come back home, it's like what your plans are. Are you moving? Are you staying? Are you going? You should stay. You should do this. You should do that. So these sort of things, as an example, do come up for us. And I guess because I'm so much on social media, everyone knows the progression of what I do and what I'm doing on a daily basis. So it is interesting for me because I put myself out there so much that you're going to get those opinions, you're going to get those thoughts, you're going to get judgments coming through. So Tony, over to you on this one in general before we get into items.
Well, the first thing is to recognise that it's going to come. Don't try and pretend it's not going to come, because it's going to come, and it's going to come in different ways. It's going to come from people that love us the most, and they're going to give us their opinions, their judgments, their feedback. They're going to do it from a place of good intent, but it's not always going to be necessarily what it is that you want to be hearing. And it's a good opportunity for us, because some of the things they might say is actually very good. Some of the things they might say has, forced us or caused us to prompt just have a consideration about something else. Whereas a lot of the other stuff comes from their own insecurities, and they're wanting to keep you back. We're a herd mentality, right? Humans, we're a herd mentality. We love to stay in a pack. Hello there, got the birds at my feet. We want to stay in a pack, and we want to, and they want to stick with me as well. Fantastic. And so it's all about, from a communal point of view. And if someone's going to do something different, it means you're going to go away from the pack. And so what they want to do is they want to try and keep you back in the pack, keep you safe, right? But hang on, if you want to go and do entrepreneurism, if you want to go and, get into property or whatever.
Travel to Queensland.
Travel to Queensland for 6 months because you can. Well, that's different. That's different to the masses, right? And so now when you do something that's different to the masses, different to the herd, people are going to give you their opinion, their judgments. As I said, not all of it is bad, as in the intention is not bad. A lot of the intention is really good. The intention is, hey, I'm wanting to help you, but actually the help is not really what you need at that point in time. So there's going to be a lot of it coming in the next week or so as we congregate with families. It's been a crazy, crazy year, and it continues to get crazy with what's going on in the northern beaches of New South Wales at the moment. But, we're about to congregate with our families, and there is going to be judgment and opinions flying left, right and centre.
Okay, let's take it from the other point of view, not the person receiving the judgments, but what about the people giving the judgments?
Well, the people giving the judgment, we'll go back to the person giving the judgment is doing it because they think they want to keep you safe. So people are saying to you, hey, Luke, don't go to Queensland. I'm going to use you as the example. Don't go to Queensland because I want to keep you safe. I want to keep you close to the family. I want you to be safe. I want you to be here with us. I want to be together as a family, love the family unit, et cetera, et cetera. You had a different view. Your view was that you wanted to go up here, you wanted to do some business stuff, you wanted to try something a bit different.
I guess in terms of a positive sense or a recommendation, if you are thinking about the judgments that you're feeling about the other person, how do you sort of get towards bringing it where it's a conversation rather than opinion?
Well, it's have a conversation. Right, so it's exactly that. It's about being honest. You can be honest. Ask questions. So when you ask questions, now you are as opposed to. Sorry. Oh, it took me 5 minutes. Look, Mum's still setting up. Clearly, no, it took me 5 minutes to get there. But it's about asking questions. Right, ask people as opposed to saying, "Hey, my view on that is blah blah blah." Ask some exploratory, curious style questions of people.
Yeah, I guess it's a tough one. Because there's questions without judgment. Even in your tone, we've got to be very careful on these sort of things for ourselves. I tend to probably sometimes do go in with those leading questions, and we've got to be careful on that. So you know, maybe some people need to be challenged in certain areas of life. Well, maybe they don't need to be either. Maybe
Why do you think you do that? Why do you think that you go in with leading questions sometimes?
I guess I get a sense, you know, it is to be honest, it's a little bit of a judgment on their body language or their tone or what they're saying to go, okay, have you actually challenged yourself in that area? Are you actually thinking differently about what's going on? Or are you just staying in a lane that you don't, it feels like it's a bad energy around it. So that's where it comes about. It comes out good, but it's still a judgment if we're honest with each other.
Of course it is, you know, and so the other skill that's required here is empathy. You know, so empathy is an amazing skill because it's recognizing that you might be where you are and I might be where I am, and someone may not be doing what it is that you want them to be doing. But it's about being empathetic to that situation and recognizing that everybody has their own story. Everyone has their own stuff. And whilst from the outside, it's like, oh my gosh, like, why can't you just pick that phone up and ring that person? Why can't you just go and put an offer on a property? Like, why can't you just do that? It's like, well, let's understand why they can't. Let's be empathetic with that person. Let's try and put ourselves in their shoes.
I guess that comes out of Tony thinking about delivering a message or a question and then relating it back to areas where, you know, personally, I've struggled in the past. So giving those things that people feel, you know, you give that empathy through story, through experience, that where I've struggled in the past, where I can actually provide some idea of challenging their thoughts or doing something differently. So they're actually in a position to say, okay, I'm not infallible, because people think when you are actually giving advice or opinions or leading questions that, you know, I'm in a state of perfection or anything. No, we get it wrong too. And people have got to, I guess, realize that in the discussion. I'm not being in a position of being, you know, the super intelligent one or the guiding light or, you know, God's gift to everyone, but we're leading from a place of serving, right? And this is where it is still a judgment, but it's just not that heavy, direct and, you know, battering ram type of judgment that often we hear from family and friends that kind of really care about us.
What's the opposite of judgment? It's acceptance. It's acceptance. It's acceptance. Yeah, it's along those lines. So it's about the above the line, below the line. It's the same exercise. For those who are at home, if you're wanting to explore this, it's called the line of choice. And what happens is below the line is where we do things that cause us to act as a victim. The world is doing stuff to us. Above the line is where we act as a victor. We take control of what's going on and we create our own destiny. And so judgment sits below the line. It is a below the line behavior. And for a lot of us, it's our default. But because we've judged all our life, we go into a default judgment. The conscious decision above the line is acceptance. To accept the differences, to accept that someone is where they are, to accept that maybe they don't know the things that you know, to accept, right? And so that's about practicing acceptance. You know, how can we go and practice acceptance? And it's simply practicing acceptance is to ask really no judgment, innocent style questions to get a picture of where is that person at? Where are they truly? Like, what is truly going on inside of them? You know, and quite often people will put up that initial reason why they're not doing the certain things that they should, but perhaps underneath it all there's massive reasons, you know, and it's about digging, and just through very innocent, through very supportive, through very compassionate, you know, style questions to get to that, so you can start to accept that someone is doing what they're doing or not doing what they're doing, but there's a whole range of reasons why that's the case. That doesn't mean you finish it there. Because again, it comes down to what do you really want? What do you want? If you want to shift your time, if you want to, you know, shift your property portfolio, if you want to grow your small business, if you want to have a better relationship, that's cool. But we want to understand. You know, part of it is understanding where they're at the moment.
Sunil says, "Love your questions, Luke. Gets me thinking outside the box." Well, that's a definite from my questions.
Well, I had a client of mine.
Tony's had the experience from me as well. You know, we've challenged each other on questions as well.
Oh, it's important. It's important to challenge everybody on questions when things come up. I was just going to say, I had a client of mine call me this week and he wanted to say Merry Christmas and thanks for the year, all that sort of stuff. And we're just having a chat about things. And he said, you have an ability to make me feel uncomfortable, and I love it. And I love it, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful of him to say that, because it's true. That's what my job is. My job is to make people feel incredibly uncomfortable with a view of having them to grow, not to make them feel uncomfortable to, bully people or put them down, but rather to, get them to feel uncomfortable because they have bigger opportunities, goals, objectives, more potential that they can tap into, etc.
Sounds like a really good social media post for you.
Could be.
As a testimonial for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. So, but absolutely could be. So, but anyway, he was delighted that I make him feel uncomfortable. So it was very good.
It is. Like, it sounds kind of weird saying it, Tony. I kind of get a sense that from you that you're saying it but it's just so important. We just say it all the time. Get uncomfortable, challenge yourself, go outside your comfort zone. All these things to raise the bar for yourself.
Oh, it was probably more the fact that he loves me making him uncomfortable. That was probably my job is to make people uncomfortable. I do it. I now do it without even thinking, unfortunately, sometimes, and I do it at home, and I'm always getting in trouble for it. But my job is to make people feel uncomfortable. But the fact that he said, I just love you making me feel uncomfortable, I thought that was quite funny.